Eden Kaz here with Just Be, and we are about to take a spiritual boom. We are at an unprecedented time in human history where we are transitioning from 3D to 5D within the great spiritual awakening. This video and audio podcast is the place for you to find your truth beyond politics, your sovereignty, your voice. Let's kick up your vibration now. By the way, each episode ends with the Just Be practice to do just that. P.S. Just to know a little bit more about me, I'm a psychological empath, meditation master, dimensional healer, all the things to help you within this ascension. To learn more about me, visit me at EdenJustBe.com. And let's get this party started. A bit of getting excited for this podcast. So I shake a little bit, I get ready. Okay, I think I'm ready. And I got all my papers here. All right, Eden, Just Be, Spiritual Boom in association with the Grassroots Warrior Network. Ole Dammegard, please say hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay, and Ole knows that I'm going to talk a little bit before we officially begin. Yet, we are on episode 111, which means opening portals, aligning your thoughts with abundance and positivity, deep spiritual alignment, which is really great. And for all you listeners and watchers, I currently live in Ohio, and I've been here for a while. I just found out that this state is a powerhouse in terms of sacred sites and galactical places to go. And y'all know I've been looking for a place to hang my hat. So starting this week, I'm going to really start exploring where I live. I just got back from Portugal as well, which was beautiful. So I'm quite impressed with my state, and hopefully I'll be more impressed with it. Okay, so Ole, I heard him on the Dowling podcast, which is a Christian-based show. And then I was going to have a podcast with Michael Jaco this weekend and Kevin Hoyt, which is going to need to be rescheduled. But I found out and didn't know that Ole and Michael have, is it almost bi-weekly chats, or y'all meet fairly occasionally, don't you?
We've done it a year or two every second week.
Every second week. Okay, beautiful. Okay, and I thought about talking to Ole about this before the show, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it now in terms of what the show is about, in terms of your people coming here. And I have done a lot of research on your site. I loved Gathering of the Tribe video, which I will post on my networks as well. So here we are, Gathering the Tribe right here. All right, so my show is about the spiritual side of this great awakening. And I know that you spent 40 years going to places and discovering the truth for yourself. And I was at January 6th in DC as well. So finding when you're actually in these situations, how so much of it is not true and so much is manipulated. And I also love Ole's own wording, which to me is very comparable to the show. This is not about conspiracies. It is about con-spirituality. So everything about Just Be Spiritual Boom looks at everything from a spiritual lens, and believing that God has won. So this broadcast is about seeing the yuck and also having strong faith and very much positivity that goes with it, and going back to the heart. And that's what all of this is about. And that also means doing hard stuff in your community and your relationships. Like for me, everything in the past 3 years has just, it fell apart, and now it's rebuilding, which is wonderful. And then also understanding, and Ole, I want to hear your thoughts about this after I read your bio, that this really isn't about God winning, that it is about us seeing the devil and the hardships that are out there, but also knowing that we created this, that we are responsible for it. And as we take responsibility for it, and just we can neutralize it, and then we have so much power, and we have so much power. All right, let me read Ole's bio. Truth seeker, code breaker, and peacemaker. Ole, how do you say that? Arwana?
How do I say it?
Arwana?
Arjuna.
Thank you. Dammegard, awarded the Prague Peace Prize and adopted by the Apache Nation, is author of 5 books. He smuggled friends out of war-torn Iran in 1984. He is an international speaker former journalist, investigator, musician, composer, artist, inventor, the list goes on, yoga teacher, and coach, who has dedicated, as I stated, the last 40 years to building and to researching global conspiracies. We can go to 9/11, the assassination of JFK, what's going on in Maui, the Sandy Hook massacres, assassination of Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, John Lennon, and the 1986 Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme. He has done at least 1,200 international interviews and is now considered a leading expert on false flag operations. And a false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning it on another party. He has accurately predicted, this is really interesting, and hopefully we can talk about this today, 68 alleged terror attacks up to 2 months before they occurred, and in addition, stopped several planned massacres. With so many years of deep research, his last name has now become a verb. To Dammegard, or Dammegarding, means searching for hidden clues and stopping the deep state. The deep state. Ugh. Okay, man, I researched you. I hope I did you justice. So in terms of me talking about what this show is about, what is your perspective on the bigger picture? Why all this is going on right now? Woo, big question.
Well, if you give me 6 hours, I will just go scratch on the surface.
Okay. Yeah, 5 minutes.
I am, just like my mother said before she died, I'm still confused, but on a higher level. And that's where I am. I'm happily confused in what is going on. I for sure do not know. I don't understand the bigger picture because it's so multi-layered.
Mhm.
I'm not religious, but I am a spiritual being. And
Mhm.
it is, there's like, the way I see it, I have a simple mind, so I need to simplify stuff to get it. And so I'm on a street level where this illusion of reality occurs, where this meat suit is walking around doing his stuff, and doing my best on this surface, where I cannot stand injustices. I cannot stand bullying, killing, torturing, all of these things, hurting others. So on that level, I do everything I can to transcend it, not stop, but
Right.
transcend and make it stop, but not fight it, but make it stop by exposing it. Then on a higher level, where duality is part of this reality, whatever that is,
Exactly.
you got these different forces between good and evil, black and white, up and down. It's called duality, and this is the area. Just like I think with a battery, you need both plus and minus to create this tension or this currency where we can then explore and do all kinds. It's like a spiritual boot camp where we are giving these vehicles to run around and explore. Oh, how does it feel to be a serial killer? How does it feel to be a saint? How can it, in all of these areas? And then on a higher level, you got to where there is no good, there is no evil. It's just on a spiritual plane, an experience where it is experiencing itself through us, where we are all one. It's very confusing. And so the thing where you said that God will win, I mean, God doesn't even fight, if you ask me. Uh,
Right.
he is way above this. Whoever that is, architect, if that is Mrs. Smith, a black woman in somewhere galaxy, whatever, who's created this, I do not know. But the one that created this whole thing, I think, is non-judgmental, all loving, and it's just have created this fun fair where we can explore horror, trauma, romance, love, compassion, forgiveness, backstabbing, to backstab, uh, to slaughter, to love, to feed, to take care of. All of it is there for us to explore. It's like a candy shop. And then in that area, we can explore and we can, but without the bad guys, this would be dead boring You know, it's like if you watch a Batman movie, if there's no villain, I mean, you got this transgender kind of weirdo with an outfit driving around in a strange car in Gotham City, up and down the streets. Everybody's happy. There's nothing going on. That would be dead boring. Joker enters. Suddenly, you got the tension between plus and minus, and you got this, whoa, you can all of these things can happen, and we're like, oh god, I hate this. No, you don't. You're absolutely fascinated. Oh, I'm so scared of serial killers. Really? Is that why you're watching all of these documentaries? I just want peace and harmony. Really? Is that what you want? So you're just watching like old French black and white movies about poetry? I don't think so. So the thing is for us to stop whining and start shining. I mean, they teach us like that: stop whining, start shining, get out of victim mode, and see where you are in this, whatever it is we're in. Somehow, I don't know where I came from, but I'm being told that I signed a contract coming down here,
Yes.
even choosing who I'm going to be, my role, the people around me, the other players around me, that I've been part of creating this, you know? And I tell you, the worst assholes in your lives, when you look at it, they're the best teachers. They are. I do not like saying that. I do
It's
not
true.
like these horrible, horrible characters in my life. But on the other hand, it is through these individuals that are doing horrendous acts of horror that we learn that we can choose: do I want to join these forces? Do I want to
Mhm.
oppose them? Do I want to fight them? Do I want to transcend them? What is my intention? And it's the intention that is the important thing, because if you go out there and you fight the evil with violence, I'm gonna kill the fuckers. I'm gonna do with that intention. I tell you, you are part of creating the same. So it's a real mind trickery, very, very difficult one, how to deal with these forces. And this is where I did not really understand that I was getting myself onto this road, but I think I was born into it. And where it's been for me how to stand up against horror and bullies, if it's in a schoolyard, if it's in a parliament, if it's in the street, if it's in a nation, how to stand up against these forces and not add to the situation, but to
Mhm.
transcend it. And this is where love comes in, I think, because love is the answer. I'm not talking about Hollywood crap. I'm talking
Right.
about the highest frequency in this illusion of reality, whatever we're in. I am very confused. Um, but if you have, if you take, for instance, in a laboratory, you take a very high frequency and you take a low frequency. A high frequency is positive, 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 and the highest of them all, above the frequency of thought, is love. The what real love, the power of love. Love should actually have 16 different words describing different grades of. Where I think Hollywood just squashed it into the, so it took away the power of these nuances from us. Anyway, so love, that frequency, and then you got terror, fear. That's one of the absolute lowest. If you let these two frequencies or two frequencies meet in a laboratory, it's not that they start fighting like this and then they end up sort of 50-50 in a gray zone. The lower one just boom gets annulled. The higher frequency just make it go away. And so I think there was this bearded guy a couple of thousand years ago. He went under the name of Jesus, or there are different variations of that. If he lived, if he didn't, I do not know. But a lot of the things he said made a lot of sense to me. But the way I think he was a super hacker. He understood this matrix we were in, and he got to the understanding of, if a higher frequency annuls a lower frequency, meaning solve the problem, then why not make it easy for us? Choose love. Whatever the problem is, choose love, because love, and then do, it will just dissolve the lower one. And we said, oh, thank you, Lord. And then we nailed him to a cross. I mean, come on, guys. What is that? That really sucks. So, but other than that, he showed the way. He said, listen, guys, this is not a way for wusses. He did not say, turn the other cheek and
Mhm.
bend over, pull down your pants and surrender. That was not what he said. He was a rebel and he paid the ultimate price. But he said, this is the key. The key out of darkness is love. And you will be tested. If you choose that road, you will be tested. That is just like Buddha said, rule number one, there is pain. That's it. In this universe, there is pain. This is not a Hollywood version. Oh, I want pink and fluffy, everything like that. No, you do not. You sign up for the wrong one. This is not for wusses. This is a boot camp, a spiritual boot camp, where you will be tested. Oh, I don't want to. Well, sorry, you bought the ticket and you're here, so deal with it. And that goes for all of us. And so in my life, I've been blessed with a lot of traumatic events that where I used to be a victim. I used to see myself as a victim, and I had a whole gallery of traumas that I could just pick out and make people feel sorry for me. But that, I tell you, you lose power. It does. People
Yes.
get fed up with listening to this whining individual, and it's like who never gets out of it. It just goes
Mhm.
round and around and around. You lose friends, you lose everybody because they got enough on their own plate. So the thing is to somehow see if you can turn it around and see that there's a gift hidden in these horror events. And that, as far as I can see it, is that if you can turn it around, it will give you the gift of empathy for someone who's going through a similar thing. It will make you understand and feel and be there for someone else who's going through really horrible stuff, like
Okay,
a
can you give
war
us
with.
an example of something that happened to you?
Oh my God! Well, everything happened to me. I haven't been sort of on but it's like, for instance, if you got a war veteran,
Mhm.
that the ones that can reach them are other veterans,
Mhm.
because like civilians won't get it. They cannot understand what these people went through. So they need
Yeah.
somebody who have understood it, who felt it on their body, who been there, who's seen the confusion, and also maybe have committed horrible acts because of orders or whatever, but who have committed and who have to live with it. They can feel another veteran. They can really understand. That's why they're so important to each other. An alcoholic, AA, triple A, whatever. Why is that? Because it needs one to understand another. And so even though it was very hard to go through many of these events, it's given me the gift of understanding and feeling other people when they're going through difficult times. So it's a matter, it's turn it around, get out of victimhood. That it's when you're a victim, it's like driving around with a flat tire. It really is. You
Mhm.
you cannot move forward. It's the same. I'm if you identify with the trauma, if you I'm cancer free, you know, I'm a I'm a I'm a recovering alcoholic. You're still connected to it. You're
Yes.
dragging it like an anchor after you. I am a, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this is the thing. I think we need to let go of these chains and let go of these identities, because
Mm.
otherwise we keep them with us, and that is not real freedom.
It is not. How, when you started seeing that the world was wonky, when was that? Because you've been doing this for 40 years. Did you, when you were a teenager, did you realize that something wasn't quite harmonizing? How did you start seeing things?
I tell you, a few years ago, 2017, I found out that
Yeah.
my parents had been living a double life my whole life since before I was born. They were secret assets to NATO, part of the building up of the Gladio network, the Gladio NATO Ghost Army in
Uh,
Denmark,
okay.
and that most of my family were part of this ultra secret ghost guerrilla that all NATO countries have. It's a mandatory part of for entering into NATO. And I believe now, after looking into it deeper and deeper and deeper, I did not see it at all when I grew up, or I did not. My dad died in 92, my mother in 2013. They never, ever mention it. And now I found out that every single thing in my childhood, where we lived, our friends, our neighbors, where we went on holiday, I even think that my parents did not meet out of love. I think they were put together as assets, and that my family was created as a front for these, because they needed a perfect family front to be able to carry out these operations. These operations were for the good. They were for good in those days. It was a
Okay.
defense mechanism that then was taken over by the CIA in the mid-50s with a strategy of tension, and then turned into a terror tool. And so to answer your question, I think I was born, I came down
Oh,
as, I would say, a very pure soul on this place.
yeah.
I did not know what I got myself. I got super confused from day one when I saw all of this darkness, and when I saw all of this. And I was born into this family also, where it was like on the surface, perfect, beautiful. Behind the scenes, a powder keg, like very colorful individuals that, when you put them together, can create all kinds of spectrums, all kinds of like this. So perfect if you want to create a lot of good exercises for a boot camp. Excellent, absolutely worthless if you want to create some weak individual that would not be tested in any way or form. It was not a safe environment. It was a very developing environment.
And
So
how many siblings did you have?
I have one older brother and one younger sister.
Okay. What?
So
Go ahead.
so no, so I think that it's very possible that I was born into this
Yeah.
life as part of a NATO operation. And so I think that even from a very young age, I was getting very sensitive to things that was not being said out loud, that didn't make sense,
Yeah.
that like, so this is why many people say, how come you're so good at it? I say, I have no idea. I have no idea why is this meat suit uh, like, I'm Rain Man in this area. I'm a quite, if I look, objectively, I don't see anyone else on this round or flat earth that is like this one. I don't know. So it's been like I've been put into life and put in a dragster type of thing that would be bashed, bashed, bashed for the first 20 years. And then out of this, purifying myself and going through fire in many different forms. I mean, I was obsessed with war zones for a while. That's also this thing with me smuggling people out from Iran. I went on a bicycle on my own. What the hell is that? Get a shrink, instead. But I think that my task has somehow become to transmute poison, to put myself in these situation, poisonous situation, dangerous situation, and transmute it and transcend it into something beautiful. That is at least my intention.
So, in growing up in that environment, it seemingly attuned you to really see things differently and inquisitively, and really to question. To question sounds like pretty much everything.
I was just confused, as far as if you ask me. No, but I was like, uh, I had a very militant dad
Yeah.
who also, I'm finding out now, had this ice cold side to him where he could get things done, including killing people.
Oh
I
my
had this
gosh.
very weak mother. Yeah, but if you, instead of, oh my gosh, oh poor him, no, if you look at it like,
Oh, yep,
this is interesting. This
it
is
is.
interesting
Mm-hmm.
because, like, put these ingredients together,
Mm-hmm.
and what do you get? And so I think I'm living now what I was being prepared for early on. And this is also why I was given the spiritual name Arjuna, which is Arjuna is from the Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna is the perfect warrior who does not want to fight and who is put in an impossible situation where in the Bhagavad Gita, it's I don't know how many thousands pages, but it's a conversation between him and Lord Shiva, and where he's saying he's forced into this war, and he's got friends and family on both sides. So if he doesn't act, people will die. If he acts, other people will die. If he does, it's like an impossible. He cannot, and he has to. And join. This is why I think I was given this name. I feel that it suits me perfectly, because I am a very, very good warrior. I'm very good with guns. I'm very good with all of these things, and I do not step on ants. I do not kill a fly. Do you see what? So it's like,
I do.
So when I started on this, I started from day one, I think, or before. I don't know why I chose this, but I did. And so for when I grew up and a major part of my life, if I looked at my bookshelf, it was either spiritual books and all kinds of, like new age, but spiritual thing, and serial killers, black ops. So there was no in between. And the Wild West, the historical Wild West, which is also built on violence. And so it's like there was no gray zone. I was like thinking sometimes, am I some kind of schizophrenic or what? But when you look at it, it's the duality, I think, from these two forces. And I was in the middle, confused, just like, why is this going on? Why are what is the thing with power? What is this whole thing with control? What is this? Why can't we just get on? Why is this? Why is the world like this? It shouldn't be. We should, if you look at it, I keep meeting absolutely incredible people. Yeah, messed up, join the club. I can be the chairman, but otherwise than that, people, I saw this documentary some years ago. They had gone to, I think, 54 countries or something like that. And they went around the world asking anything from tribe members to middle of Africa to, all over the world, Eskimos, and asking, what do you want out of life? What do you want? And it turned out that 95%, everybody wanted the same, up to 95%. They wanted a beautiful, happy life. They wanted good friends. They wanted a party from now and then. They wanted that their kids was well taken care of, that they got an education, and they were fine. That was that. Then the last five was religion, sports, and politics. And that is the one where it gets messed up. So, but that is incredibly good news, I think, because like, turn off the TV, that's one for you. And then you lose a lot of these things. Stop forcing religion on each other, that's another one. And by the way, if you are, if you're pushing a religion or you're standing up for it, then have some open-mindedness to it, because like, who did the translations? Maybe this book has been translated over and over and over again with people that are hungry for power, that have sort of, I'm tweaking, gonna tweak that one, and let's tweak that one, to get a little more than that. You have to go back to the basic. And by the way, who wrote it? We don't even know that. And so this whole thing will, well, it says like that, and it's written in the, really? Is it really? Is this the original, or is it somehow, you don't know. So use what is it saying? Most religions are saying similar things. Be a good person, be honest, don't kill, don't hurt, treat people with respect the way you would like to be treated. Don't steal. Maybe I said that already. Don't take somebody else's spouse. Be a good person. Be good, do good, and life will reward you in a beautiful way. Yes, and there will be some ups and downs, and you would be bored otherwise. So stop whining, start shining. But then these power hungry, fundamentalist, absolute messed up individuals have taken over and just screwed it up for all of us. And then used it, well, in the name of God, we're going to slaughter these people because God and us is on our side. You see, you listening to the other side of this, whatever it is, the battle. God is on our side. Do not fear. We will really. So God is fighting himself. Maybe that is true, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense
Right.
here. Or are you messing this whole thing up? Who is pushing you? And this is where I feel like, what's going on? And that's where I got into this whole thing that it doesn't make sense. I'm a simple person. 1+1 = 2. That's it.
Mhm.
If somebody says 1+1 = 34, I don't care if they're a professor with a title like this. I don't care. For some reason, you're trying to mess with me. What's up? What's up with the NIST report? What's up with the Warren Commission? It's absolute bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, and sorry, but that's a technical term, by the way. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit on steroids. You can quote me on that one. That's not a true word. Why? Why, after all of these years, with so many of these events, well, it's still uh, for national security, absolute baloney. National security, it's their security. They're trying to hide
Right.
their butt, to cover their butt. So there's so many different areas where we're being taken for a ride. We're being lied to and played up against each other, divide and
Mhm.
conquer, and all of
Yes.
these things, where so much of this is a matter of manipulation, war by deception, forces in the background pulling the strings. We're being shown the theater down here. Oh, black and white against each other, red and blue against each other. Boom, boom, boom. That's the bad guys. No, on the other side, you hear, no, that's the bad guys. No, it's up here. Actually, it's down below, pulling the strings, pulling it, pushing it, doing like this. These ones are the ones. That force is the one that I go after. I don't look at the symptoms. I try to see behind it what's actually going on. And that's where, if you take it to the extreme, I say we are up against pure evil or absolute minus on the battery in this. And it's up to us if you want to join them. I mean, there's lots of Satanists and Illuminati freaks and whatever. In my world, they believe that they're doing the right thing. They are not thinking, I'm going to wake up and do a lot of horrible, evil stuff today. A few of them, maybe Dr. Evil and these type of, but otherwise than that, they believe in what they're doing. And they see individuals like this as the enemy. That's why I've been shot. I've been almost hit by cars several times. I had, I don't know how many death threats. I had to move country twice. I had to take my family across the whole world. I don't even step on an ant. I'm giving a peace prize, and I'm being now, I'm risking 18 years in prison if I return to Sweden. I mean, wake me up. What is going on? There's something bizarre going on, and it's because there's two forces going on. One up on a cloud, one who likes a really hot climate and eats with a fork. It's these two forces that are doing this. And the beauty is that we're in the middle where we can choose. And it's becoming more and more clear what's going on. I tell you, the demonic forces are
Mhm.
so like in your face now. And also the higher frequency, the divine forces, whatever you want to call them, are also. And now, because of this traumatic event that I've had to take my family across the world, again, it's the third time in my life that I choose.
Ah,
Yeah, but it's not, it's a blessing. Do
okay.
you see what I'm saying? Because it was
I
horrible when
understand.
it happened, but I'm super grateful to be here. I'm on
Good.
Bali, in Bali, on Bali. It's an island. It's the island of
Yes.
the gods. I came here because I was being invited into an incredible island project that was there to protect children to get children out of sex trafficking and all this. I normally don't get involved at all in groups, organizations, because too many big egos, too easy to get infiltrated. I'm a one-man band, but it just took me by, it grabbed my heart. So we came here because we were involved with this whole thing. I came here, it turned out it was not true. It was, yeah, that was a trauma for you. I was pale
Oh,
green for 3, 4 days in a row. I just felt
oh,
absolute sick to my stomach. But that was what was needed to take us all this way.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. I get it.
so it's like, this is when you read a book and you're in one chapter and all of this horrible thing happens, there's a chapter afterwards and a chapter afterwards. And maybe 5, 6 chapters further down the road, you start seeing, wait a second, maybe that horrible thing happened for this to occur
Mm-hmm.
and this to occur and this. And now suddenly it comes into some kind of understanding. So I'm trying to remind myself when I go through hardship that it's sort of like, where's this leading? I have no clue. Is this horrible? Yes, I feel absolutely smashed and crashed and blah,
Right.
but I'm sure it's leading somewhere because apparently this heart keeps beating. So it's leading me it's taking me somewhere I just don't understand. But to create something new, you have to create an empty space first. You cannot fill a full glass. And it's like when you empty it, that's where a lot of the sorrow and suffering and all of these things comes out. But then you got an empty space that can be filled with something new. So interesting, like the day before yesterday, both my sweetheart and I, we had a day where we just felt like dying. The energy was so low. I felt completely without hope. I mean, it was just horrible, horrible. And not normally do we have the same on the same day.
Mm.
What was that? Was it 5G? Was it chemtrails? Was it parasites? Was it? I have no idea. I just know I felt awful.
Damn.
And it felt like this is never going to change. It's going to be like this forever. And then we woke up the next day and we were feeling better. And today I'm feeling good. So
Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. So it sounds like when you're talking about having the books, the spiritual books, and the violent books on each side, how is it faith that keeps you balanced within this?
I,
What would you say?
I don't know. I don't know what faith is. I don't know
Okay.
what faith is.
What does that
I,
mean?
what does faith mean? I don't know. I I don't know either. I have extreme faith or I don't know what that word means because it's been used in so many different ways that I think I'm the wrong person to ask, really.
Interesting.
Because I don't know what it is to be anything except me. I can't remember if I've been other stuff like that. Maybe I've been, maybe I don't. I don't know, but this is the one I remember. And so I just know that the road I'm walking, I know very distinct. I know for sure that this is my road. It's like if people are trying to force me to hurt something or someone, I am not doing it. I am not doing it. My intention is to leave every situation a bit better than it was before I entered into it.
Mhm.
And I mean, if I see a fly that is drowning in a water puddle or something, I am in the puddle, I'm getting it out. Yes, but you eat meat. I know it doesn't make any sense. But if I see somebody who's going to kill the chicken, I'm going to do everything to save the chicken. It doesn't make any sense. And yet again, it's my path. And I've been pushing this very, very uh, consciously for 43 years. I mean, I have done more, like you said, more than 1,200 interviews. Just the interviews, that's 2 hours per interview. I've never been paid. I've never been like that. It's a lot of time.
Yes, it is.
Why? Why? And why am I interesting to get on shows? Because I put in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours into research, into trying to understand. Why did I do that? I don't know. But it's given me, no, because I tell you, I've seen people on this stage come
Yeah,
in and out, in and out, in and out,
I would
in
believe
and
it.
out. I'm one of the few one.
It stays.
And why is that? I don't get it. I'm in, at times I'm so exhausted. I'm completely burned out. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing. I'm putting my family through difficult times sometimes, which is not fun.
Hmm.
I mean, uh, well, my sweetheart, she's been by my side for 25 years. Bless her soul. How did she manage to do that? Not an easy ride, I tell you. And my daughter is like, oh my God, why can't you just be a plumber?
Ah,
I don't
how old is
know.
she?
She's
How old is she?
19 now.
Okay, does
19.
she is she well, obviously she's with you and moving. Does she see everything that's going on? Well,
Yeah. I
hopefully
mean, she's grown up with our
with
home
it.
has always been like a safe house for people,
Okay.
you know, other truths or whistleblowers.
Hmm.
They've come to our house and stayed and been fed and boosted and then kicked in the butt, get out, do good.
Okay.
So she's been growing up with amazing people, absolutely amazing people around her that has been treating her with very much respect from an early age.
Mm.
And but then when in the year 2000, there was the first time two of my friends got murdered, and I just felt it's time to leave Sweden. So we left. We started from absolute scratch in Spain, 20 years in Spain. Then COVID hit, Operation COVID, time to leave again because it was Spain was country number two that was really hit. It was Italy, Spain, and they went full on with
Mm.
roadblocks and military and helicopters and doing. I kept doing interviews all the time up from a little shed on top of the house. I had ropes hanging down from a 3-story building. I had the
Wow.
car so that we had escape routes, but doing what I'm doing, not nice, you know. I was even saying in interviews, like if suddenly this transmission stops, it's because they kicked in the door. I mean, shit scary. But at the same time, also because I know the different waves of these viruses, one of the reasons for the waves is because they cannot keep constant pressure. They need to release after it.
Mm.
Normally, it's like 7 to 8 weeks. They need to give people a little, and then they push down again. And the reason for that is otherwise they will have uprisings and demonstrations and so on. So 7 8 weeks, that's when they let it go and they push somewhere else, and then they change and push. So you will see very few countries on the same pressure at the same time. It's like
It's
this
true.
in one part of the world, then they do like this, then they do like this, then they do. So we calculated when to get out. So because the airports, everything was shut down, so we calculated and we managed to pinpoint it, boom, like that, and got out. The
Wow.
airport opened 2 weeks, and we managed whoop, whoop, like this. So anyway, what I wanted to say was that she was 15 and we had been living up in the mountains most of her
Hmm.
life. And now we had moved down to the coast, and she had finally found friends. And then we take her and just rip her out of her. 15 years old, brutal, brutal, brutal. And so she was not happy here the first year or year and a half. The first 3 months, she was very sad. She said we kidnapped her and she was crying. It was awful. The way I saw it, you know, is that if we can just get to Bali, everything will be fine. We got here, we managed to get here, and everything was everything but fine to start with. But now it's turned around, and now she's like she's 19, but I think she's closer to 83. She's a super old spirit. I'm learning a lot from her.
Yes.
And she said that these 2 years were the worst years of her life, but also the years where she learned the most about herself. So
Oh.
she loves studying her own mind and how the
Hmm.
brain works. And so, yeah, thank God now she's really thriving here. She loves Bali now, and but once again, these chapters. So the
Right.
chapter when we came here, really rough, that led to this,
That,
that
right.
will lead to something
Something
else.
else. And I know you were talking about your, let's say, concern for Bali, knowing that everything that's happened to Maui. How do you feel about there? Do you feel like that will be a place that is struck next, or what?
I'm doing everything I can to transcend that one, but there
Okay.
are scary similarities between
Yeah.
these places, and also the way that Maui was hit. If I'm correct, it went under Operation Talisman Saber 23. That was the name of the drill that was then went active and hit. It was the U.S. Space Force that did the frying of Maui. It was the U.S. Army Corps that did the digital cloning of the islands before it went in January and February. They scanned, laser scanned the islands, and where the whole thing was like with laser light precision, mapped out, all to fit into the Agenda 21 agenda of smart cities and smart islands, where the idea and what is going on right now is that they're turning Maui into the first smart island run by AI in the world. And so they needed to get rid of the local population because a lot of these properties, they don't even have deeds. You know, these are going back, 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 back. And the only way that they could do that was to vaporize them, you know, to absolutely. And so there was nothing natural about that Maui thing. I've broken it down in great, great detail. I don't say this lightly, but U.S. Space Force, they are the ones carrying out a lot of the
Oh,
directed energy weapon
yes.
attacks around the world over and over again.
Oh, and America is one of the worst. So please, yeah, do not. Yeah, I get it.
It's but there's many places where they're carrying out very similar.
Yeah,
It is a coordinated. These are not separate events. Yes, they happen in separate
right.
countries, but these countries are most of the time connected to NATO or to a secret intelligence exchange system called Five Eyes, Nine Eyes, or 14 Eyes.
Mhm.
Uh, these are the areas where they're doing it. And so right now they're really going for Chile, um, and it's the U.S. Space Force again. I tell you, I kid you not, and it's just like mind blowing when you think of it. But this is hard, cold, ice cold, brutal takeover. What has happened in Maui? It's an absolute invasion of hostile, just because people are walking around in police uniforms because they're looking like military, yeah, that is an invading force. And many of these people are not. I mean, very few of them are local police. Where did they come from? They are an invading force. And what is going on in Maui is despicable, despicable, and on the highest level of evil. So you asked me about Bali. The scary thing is that Operation Talisman Saber 23, look into that one. You will see that there were, I can't remember how many nations were part of that operation. They very often have a drill first and then they go live. So they practice, they get everything fine-tuned, and then they go live in these attacks. So the drill, that's why I'm always looking for the drills. Was there a drill? Was there a drill? Was there? And more or less every time, yes. And so in that drill, NATO drill, there was the Philippines, Indonesia, unfortunately, Thailand, Japan, Tonga. What else have we got? But most New Zealand was in it. But most of these one have like tropical islands or tropical like high end value when it comes to real
Mhm.
estate, when it comes to these things. And so yes, when I found out that Indonesia was part of this, I did not feel comfortable at all when I saw what was done to Maui, because Maui and Bali is very similar. When you see footage from Maui, it could almost be here in Bali. And then one more thing that they done was for one thing, they were doing what was called it was the US Army Corps again. They were doing Operation Blue Roof, which was years ahead. They were offering, after hurricanes, natural or created by HARP, very often by HARP. After these, they were offering the population of areas that had been hit by these hurricanes that the U.S. Army Corps could go in and put blue tarp on the roof of certain buildings, so that they would do it for free. So you could apply for it, which is very kind if you look at it. It's sort of like a little weird, because I don't know any hurricane that have been stopped by tarp. And when you look at the tarp, I looked into the manufacturing of that tarp. It is resistance to EMF and 5G. What? So you have to ask yourself, is this against winds or is it against something else?
Right.
And the color blue, the lasers that were used with the directed energy weapons were blue. And so this is why we have this really weird phenomena with blue things not being affected. Everything else completely erased, including blue cars that are standing right in the middle between other vehicles that are gone. And these ones are left absolutely intact. So I believe, I'm speculating now, but I think that Operation Blue Roof, the idea is that they hit a place, and then the army was sent in saying, okay, we offer this incredible thing. They went in and they were going around saying, that's a keeper, put a blue roof on that one. That one, these kind of, these are most of the time minorities, immigrants, lower class areas, but for real estate, excellent. But you need to clear the area. It's ethnic cleansing. Right. So you need to get the poor buggers out. You need to demolish this thing without demonstrations, without all of these things. So that's a keeper, that's a keeper, that's a keeper. The rest of it can go. And then you have these fires that just goes in and cleanse the whole thing up, and the blue roof stays intact. So the blue roofs, and then you have the release of mosquitoes, which was like, I was like, what on earth? Because you need to see the different steps, how they do these things. And so when I was looking into the Maui thing, I saw that they were releasing, they started in March, which is like the attack was in August, the beginning of August. They started in March, I believe, to release 12 million gene-modified mosquitoes on Maui every second week. I was like, what on earth? And they said it was...
How'd you find out about that? Because that one's... Because I haven't heard that one.
No, because I am just digging everywhere.
You just know. Or you can
just... No, I don't...
You can just figure it out. I mean, not that you just know, but you can figure it out.
No, I dig. I find stuff. I have, what the hell is this? But when they're talking about this, I think avian flu, a bird, very bird thing. And so the release of 12 million mosquitoes, gene-modified mosquitoes, every second week for 20 years. I was like, freak me out. What on earth? Does that make sense to you? No. So I started looking into these mosquitoes. What the hell? If this is a rare bird species, why put such an effort? And like 12 million on an island, that is bizarre. And then after 2 weeks, that is bizarre. So who is behind that? So I looked into that, and we have killed Bill Gates with these modified ones. And these have been released in many countries already. You got in Florida, you got in other countries, you got in Africa and South America. Many of these are being they're being created in laboratories in I think Colombia, under the Gates Foundation, and then exported. And so if you ask me, the reason for this is because when you look at smart cities, when you look at smart islands, the idea is to get us into a smart grid, the Internet of Things, where we will be in this beautiful, golden, absolute cage, non-breakable cage of digital fencing. You can, so
Uh-huh.
that's the idea, where we can be 15-minute cities where we
Right.
will be locked in with autonomous vehicles, driverless vehicles, electric vehicles. It's not a coincidence. All that crap is for us not to have freedom to say, I'm getting the hell out.
Mhm.
I am driving my car across this border, this digital border. No, you will not be able to, because
Yeah.
they're shutting it down. So how can you then keep people inside? And I would say mosquitoes, if these mosquitoes are really vile and horrible, that is a very good way of keeping people away from nature. Because nature then, where you normally get regenerated and you feel power and, oh my God, I love being in the sun. Suddenly, if that's a dangerous place to be, where do you seek refugee? You go back into the digital grid, and it's very easy with geofencing to keep the mosquitoes out. That is what I think, after studying these super psychos for so many years and their modus operandi. So when we suddenly saw here that they were planning to do the exact same thing, it was just a small thing on Telegram or TikTok, like their local news. Oh, we're going to release these millions here on a regular basis. I was like, freak me out. And so the same agenda. This is the thing with Agenda 21. It's being carried out in so many different countries, identical at the same time, on a local level, on a national level, on an international level. That is the danger of Agenda 21, that it works on all three levels. The power of it, and also why it's so scary, because it will be down your local governmental blah blah blah, getting building permissions or anything, like food, whatever, national, international, all of them working together. Scary, scary, scary. Me not like. So I activated stuff here and we managed to get them stopped.
Okay, what did you do?
I was part of a network.
Okay,
I prefer not talking about it, since we live here, and
understood.
but
Yet you were able to
the
quell some of
yeah,
it.
no, it is, as far as I know, not going on here
Okay,
anymore. So, and that was with the effort on many, because we activated a poof like this, and
okay. I love to hear
there you
that.
go.
Very good. There you go. Okay, this is totally off it, but I thought I'd just bring this up to you today, just because it's with many of my clients, I'm starting to hear more about it. Do you know anything about Ozempic, the weight loss drug? Okay, I was curious if you did. So just to put it out there to everybody, like it's in the States, I don't know how international it is, that people are taking this injection. It's a type 2 diabetes medication, and it suppresses appetite. They're taking it for weight loss. And I'm just like, oh, ooh, not feeling good about it. All right, so let me bring that up. And I also wanted to ask you if you were aware of, and I might be saying Janet's name, her last name incorrectly, Osbard, her suicide. She did Follow the Cabal. Are you aware of anything with her?
I don't know. I just know that I think it was an excellent series. It's a very good series
Yes.
for people who are not aware at all. Even
Mhm.
it's a brutal awakening or
It is.
awareness process. So she did it in a very excellent way.
Mm.
I have no idea why she decided to leave this place, or if she was helped. I don't know. I never met her personally, but I'm very grateful for what she did. So, but I tell you also, there's a lot of people that just feels that when they dig that deep, it's sort of like, listen, this is
It's
not fun anymore. I've had
yeah.
it.
Yeah, when
And
you really
so
when you
bless
see
her
it and you
wherever
share
she
it.
is.
And that was for me to follow the cabal was probably the second thing that really prompted my awakening as well. And I remember
Oh, yeah.
when she first started, there were like I think 5 in a series and it kept growing. And once you look at the first 1 or 2, it's like, okay, next, what's next? Like you just become hungry for it. You can't believe it. So yeah, I am very thankful to her. What do you think? Okay, we got a couple more minutes. What do you think one of the biggest things that is going on right now that people aren't aware of? Is there one thing you could point to? I know there are thousands.
The director of the CIA, I think it was in the late 80s, he said, when everything the American population believes is a lie, then we have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're very close to that, if not that. I mean, when you look at mainstream media, if you look at mainstream media, be aware, be aware. So I would say if you want news, if you want fantasy, watch mainstream media. If you want real news, watch movies. If you want to know what they're planning, watch movies, because that's where they're pushing out, they're pumping out, they're tweaking and stuff like that. But if you want the truth, you will have to look for it yourself, and you will have to, please do, if you think that the truth will be found on Google, there would be pieces of the jigsaw, yes, of course. But where to find it is this is where I'm very, very careful with commenting on anything, because I don't know what I'm being fed, if this is true or not true. Yeah, but it's alternative media. Really, yeah. What does that even mean? It means that it's a different area of the same, of an informational outlet that can, since it's digital, can very easily be manipulated. There were a big scandal a few years ago. I can't remember was it called Britannica or something like that? A company, a tech company that was hired in to manipulate the US elections. And what they did was they went into all of the different social media platforms, and they completely pinpointed each and every one and said, okay, so this person, how can we get to this person? Well, with this type of information, based on what you liked, your friends on Facebook, the way you're shopping, the way your credit cards was being used, where you were located, the skin, the color, the age, all of these things were calculated into all of these things. And then the feed through social media was coming your way specifically for you to tweak your mind, and specifically for me to tweak my mind, because I was liking other stuff. I was looking at other stuff. So the feed coming my way was different. So I'm telling you now, with AI and with the way that videos can be manipulated, the voices can be manipulated, bots can be, I mean, God knows. And these things that they release now for free, I mean, if you look at the technology, I'm guarantee you that they have access to, it's like up here somewhere. And I know, I mean, I can hardly plan a week ahead. I know from the insiders that they are planning 100 years ahead. Their agenda is like, so it's like we're in a ball game where it's just like, the way I see it, I like to simplify. This one can get confused. This one can very easily be manipulated.
Right.
This one cannot. My heart cannot. You're not heart washed. They say brainwashed. And by the way, I love brainwashing, because I think these ones need a really good rinse, a really good wash. They've stolen that word, because what they're doing is not brainwashing. They are stuffing us with crap. So it's crap stuffing would be it. We should do brainwashing. This is what we really need to purify, rinse it, so that, and purify your mind through meditation, through many different ways of letting go of this crap, so that the battle will be pure, and so that you can see what's going on, because the one battlefield they're going for is your mind and your soul. I think the ultimate thing is your soul, but they come through the mind. So this is the one you should be aware of, is you cannot trust what comes out of it. This one. This is a problem-solving processor. So that can so easily be manipulated because depending on what is being fed to you. So what is being fed to us, it's through digital screens in front of us to a large extent that keeps saying life is hell, life is horrible, it's going down, we're dying, oh my God, it's smelting, it's all this fear, 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 fear,
Yes.
fear. And then you look out through the window and I tell you, most people, if they look out through the window, if you don't live right in the center of a war zone, life is beautiful.
Mhm.
So what is real and what is not? I say the heart. So I listen to the heart. That is like a GPS for me. My emotions are like a GPS. The old do you know, like when you got off track on a fishing boat and they start beep beep. Okay, okay, beep beep beep, like that. So you, if I could suggest anything, I even written a book called Remind Me, Rebooting Your Mind. It's a small little power book, but it's came to me through inspiration in spiritus, when body and mind aligns, spirit enters. Uh, and it has saved lives. It's I'm still amazed by it. I was just part of. Thank you so much. My God, I need to read this one. So So I think that the map through life is our passion. Find your
Yes.
passion. That's the one. Whatever that is, baking cookies, being the best window washer, being a soldier, if that, whatever the passion is the one. And the straightest road from A to B in life is not like that. It's like this. This will be the straightest road. So don't give up. You know, this will be the absolute quickest way to get from here to there, because that's the way we would be bored otherwise. So you got your passion. I guarantee you the passion will be difficult. When you go for that, you will be tested by life, and life will be kind enough to use the people that loves you the most. That will be your worst enemies. That will just, or the ones that will say, are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you sure that this is the road? So they will test you, being negative and not supportive and pushing you. It's part of the game. It is part of the way it is. You want to lose weight? I guarantee you within a few hours, somebody will knock on the door saying, do you want a chocolate cake? Are you sure? Is this really what you want?
Or do you
And
want to take
then
Ozempic? Yes.
I would say stay away from anything that has to do with
I
needles to start with.
I would agree.
Anything
Injecting
that
yourself. Oof.
bypasses all of the firewalls of the body. Do
Mhm.
not do it, because then suddenly you have the enemy within. If that is not super good for you. So yeah, anything with needles. And also, I mean, I love it with your in America. It's called a drugstore. Can you not hear it? They're legalized drug dealers. You even call it
Right.
drugs. You don't call it healing devices. No, it's a drugstore. Stay away. If you don't want to
Mhm.
become a druggie, stay away. If you
Mhm.
want to become a druggie, that's your place. Candy shop, let's go for it. But anyway, on this road, follow your passion, and then use your feelings. The feelings are devices to
Yes.
say you're on track. When you aren't, the thing that gives you goosebumps, that's the way to go. And then when you feel optimistic and energized and on track, you are on track. You're there. When you start going off, when you start becoming sad or anxious or frustrated or angry, you have lost your ways. You lost your ways. You need to readjust. How do you do that? Purify your mind, or do energy, like boxing or whatever, get it out of your system so that you come back and then move forward. When sometimes it's really frustrating, because this
Mhm.
one, there will also be like traffic blocks, like queues where you're just like, you're not moving. And you're like, come on, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. No, part of it is patience. I hate it. You have to practice patience. So boring. But apparently patience is something that is very valuable. So we have to practice patience. How do we do that? By being put in situations where patience is needed. Oh God. And then when suddenly it's like my spiritual teacher, Raja Yoga teacher, Nelani Chelaram, she said, God, he has like a toolbox, you know, and sometimes he needs a hammer, sometimes he needs a saw, sometimes he needs a screwdriver, or she, whatever is needed. And we are very different. So let's say that I'm a screwdriver. And on days when screwdrivers are not needed, I am not needed. So I practice being a patient, or practice, you know, in my surroundings, and whatever I can do to become the best screwdriver possible. And then on the day when suddenly a screwdriver is needed, I am on standby, I'm ready, let's go, and woof, rock and roll. Hi, baby, here we come.
Well,
So,
there you
yeah,
go. Okay.
and there
Well,
you go.
thank you so much for your time with us today. Oh gosh, I want to ask you one last question.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. What let me see how to even phrase this. America, knowing that right now we're in the midst of things. For for Americans, knowing what you just said, which was great also, how oh God, I don't even know how to phrase this, LA. What would you tell us being here in this country? Ugh,
I would say when you look at karma, your nation has a lot of blood on its hands.
indeed.
You created that nation through absolute horror, genocide, I mean, oppression, slavery, you name it. So how much good have you done in the world? Well, we spread a lot of army all over, military
Yes.
bases for protection. Really, really protection? I think not. So there's a lot of karma. I'm sorry to say,
Oh, don't
no
be sorry.
judgment.
It's true.
Well, I am sorry because
Mm,
a lot of people have not been aware of that this is
right.
what is going on, and that they are part of this machine. I
Yeah.
think like 40% of Americans are working for the government, and that government is not a good one at all.
I didn't even know that.
Government means, do you know government, what that means? Government, it's Latin. It means control the mind control. So
Uh,
it's in your face, and that government from day one has been Freemasonic and built on a lot of secrets and a lot of not good things that has then been spread out. I don't know how you managed to, or that the rest of the world, that we were so in awe of you that we said, yes, please bring all of this to
yeah.
us,
Hmm.
which is exactly what has happened. So the US Army, according to people in the military themselves that have become whistleblowers, is the terror tool of the world. I'm sorry to say that, but this is the way I also believe. NATO, the US Army, have become the terror tool of the world. And so, in the name of freedom, in the name of
Of
this
course.
is absolute.
Safety and
Yeah, but when you start debunking what's going on, and you start seeing that all of these wars that have been created
mhm.
are built on lies and false flags and lies and deceptions and false flags. It's like if you look at any other nation in the world, you know, like how many wars have North Korea started? Okay, so how many
Yeah.
wars have Iran started? So how many wars have Libya started? Uh, 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 so how many wars have the US? You have not been out of war more or less since the US was created.
And then
So
funding both sides of wars as
yeah,
well.
that is a different one. That is a different one because the funding comes not from the US. We're into the New World Order where we're talking about individuals, families, companies up here, where
Mhm.
nations are being used. So I'm just saying, you unfortunately, your nation as a nation,
Yep.
I'm not talking about you as a people, I'm saying your nation has a
Right.
lot of bad karma or violent karma to heal, and that is brutal. The healing is brutal. So I think you are being hit very hard now because of that karma. So in a karmic way, it's just swallow the pill, accept, adjust, burn the tapas, as we call in Raj Yoga. Take these challenges, but burn it with, don't hit back, but burn it, deal with it in you and purify, just like gold is purified. Deal with it, deal with it. I'm not saying become a wuss, absolutely not. I'm saying deal with it, because standard operation number one, if you speak to Americans, there's a problem, nuke them, shoot them,
Oh,
kill
kill
them,
them. Right.
bomb them. Okay, so I'll give you a different variation of how to deal with a problem. When the so-called Bali bombings happened here in Bali, Bali is an island, a very unique island in Indonesia. It's not like the rest of Indonesia, which is huge. This is a nation bigger than the US. It's 17,000 islands, 700 languages. It is massive. Okay, but Bali is a small little island where it's not a Muslim. It's a mix. It's a unique mix of Hindu, Buddhism, and their own ways. And here, it's not religion. They live it. They live it. There flower offerings all over the place. The kindness, the awareness of karma. I mean, I'm in love with the people here. I'm the most gentle people ever, ever. So anyway, so the Bali bombing happened. They were being told that it was Muslim bombers. The action, I know exactly who carried it out, and we're talking about the same bad boys once again. The reason for these bombings was to force Australia and New Zealand into the war of terror, not war on terror, war of terror. And just like dear Boris Soetoro, or sorry, Barack Obama, he said that sometimes we just have to twist the arms of nations. That's how they do it. So there was a long series of nations that was not going to join the war of terror. Like Finland had a mass shooting just before that. Then this happened. But anyway, the reason I'm saying this is, how did they deal with it? So this bomb went off, and what kind of bomb that was, but no idea. It was some kind of beta version where they were beta testing new type of technology. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And we hear about the Australian victims, that the reason they picked that area was because it was a favorite place for Australians and New Zealanders to get New Zealand and Australia involved. But many, many, many Balinese were killed, and or whatever, they were torn to pieces and burned. It was awful. But anyway, so how did they deal with that? Did they go the American way? Let's bomb them, let's hang them, let's shoot them. No, they were in the thousands in the streets, and they were sitting meditating, they were making offerings, and they were asking for forgiveness. Please forgive us for having attracted this atrocity to our island. That is a different way of approaching a problem. That is a very, very different way of saying it, because here they're very aware of the dark and the light of these four. They're extremely spiritual, but on this levels. So they're also grateful for the dark because it's part of the duality, part of the creation process. So they're putting offerings for the dark forces also. But for the temples, they're putting stuff, gates and stuff, saying, please stay out here. We will feed you. So we're very grateful for your participation, but please stay here. And for our protection, we will be on that side.
Right.
So you asked me about the US. I'm sorry, I do not give short answers. I'm very, very sorry to see the suffering that is going on in many areas. Please be aware that there's a deconstruction of the US going on. The enemy is from within. They're completely destroying it from within. And it's a matter of destroying all companies, all small businesses, all of that, hotels, restaurants, all of that, and replace it with a citizen salary. So that, which is great. I mean, in difficult times, amazing. The government goes in and helps me. It even pays me more than for me to work. So why should I go back to work? No, that's the whole idea. They print, print out of nowhere and give you the money so that you become completely dependent on them. Then they replace the restaurants and all of that with AI crap and bug food or whatever. And then one day, when enough of us have been are dependent on them, then they suddenly say, well, I mean, it's wonderful that we can help you like that, but to be able to continue supporting you, you just have to, and then they start twisting the screws. Sorry, you cannot say anything critical, you cannot do this, you cannot travel, you cannot, it's yes or no, sir.
Right.
And like that. And if you don't do it, well, we'll just send the military after you. And so the US military will be sent abroad because we have problems hurting people of our own nationality for some strange reason. And so the US will be out there controlling, hurting someone else in other countries because that's no problem chemtrailing them over there. And then you have Chinese and Ukrainian or whatever here where you are because they don't care about you. And so that's how it's done. And the end game is control, control, control. And I would say the way out is first understanding what's going on. You don't need so many details. You don't need to become an expert. You just need to see, oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God. Everything I believe is upside down. When they say black, please turn it around. White. I'm not talking about races. I'm not talking skin color. I'm talking, if they say this is good for you, please look into it. Because I would be very, very surprised if it's good for you. I would strongly suggest look into it and you will find it's actually bad. When they say something is bad for you, it's actually good. So every time they try to ban something, I look into it. Oh my God, is cinnamon that good? That's amazing. Colloidal silver. Holy moly, that is being banned here and there and there. They're trying to destroy everything. That's the agenda of the New World Order. Everything. Culture, races, gender, sex, food, water, air, nations, all of it on a global scale. This is a global attack. The idea is to destroy everything, and out of the ruins, they will come with the phoenix, and they will rebuild the world, the new world order. One digital fascist dictatorship run by AI. If you want that, great, go for it. Just don't do anything, pick your belly button and have another slice of pizza. Feel free. But if you feel that that is maybe not the perfect scenario for you, your grandkids, or the rest, you have to not just be a wimp. You have to find your backbone. This is not comfortable. This is not comfortable for anyone. And courage is only when you're scared. You don't need courage when you're not scared. If you're not scared to do something, you just do it, even if it might look like heroic actions. No, we need to do, the heart is the one you should listen to, not this one, the heart, the longest journey from here to here. What is right and what is not. It's very simple. There were some, once again, bearded individuals, or I don't know if they had beards or whatever, but they were given like 10 rules many years ago, and just so you don't forget them, make them in stone. Here you go. Don't steal, don't kill, don't, the ones we went through before. That's the basic one. You don't need thick books of all of these things, 1,000 different laws. Why are they created? It's only a matter of control. They can fuck off, if you ask me. 10 rules, that's it. Follow them, follow your heart. Your heart will tell you. If you kick somebody's baby, your heart will tell you, that's not good. That's not good. If you feed somebody that is really in a difficult situation, your heart will tell you, that's good. That's good. It's not difficult. If you steal something, it's good for me, your ego, but it's not good. It's not good. If you lie, Yeah, you might get away from it. Some people get a thrill out of it, but some of it in you, there will be this one is like, not good. These are the things you should listen to and follow them. The more you can purify and follow that road, your life will start, boom. The only one you can change is you. The one you've been waiting for is you. There are no white hats. There are no heroes out there created there. Maybe there are. I would love that to be, but I don't know where. The ones that has to do this, I have to do my part. You, I'm very grateful to see, are doing your part.
Thank you.
And it's in every single situation in our life. It's in every single meeting in our life. How did we deal with it? You know, you have this choice, good, bad. In every situation, I mean, if I wanted to, I could be Bali's biggest serial killer ever in the next 14 minutes. I've got a knife in the kitchen. There's people out there. Chop, 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 chop. Biggest serial killer ever. Is that what I'm striving for? Or am I striving for something else? I'm striving for something else. Then purify whatever that is. Follow that. That is because I'm selfish enough to feel good about it. So I will follow that one. And I will not do what my heart says is wrong. So listen to this one,
Yeah.
and you will be fine. And the more of us that does that, the better we are. And we're all messed up, and we're all scared, and we're all afraid, and we all feel alone. And that's just the way it is. Deal with it and stop whining, start shining.
Stop whining, start shining, gathering the tribe. Ole, thank you so much for everything that you've stated. And it is all about the heart. And you're right. One of the big things that I had to come to terms with was America, being American, and just looking at our politicians and our entertainers and Hollywood and all of that. It was just, and there are so many more Americans that are starting to wake up to the truth. And that's part of me having this show is I can't stop not talking. And I know that you can't either. So grateful for that. All right. Hang with me for just a second so we can say goodbye. All right, y'all. Woo! Good stuff, right? All right. See ya. Hear you later. Ole, thank you.
Thank you.
Just Be Practice. Hey, for our Just Be Practice today, Ole gave me permission to use one of his beautiful songs. I hope this is okay. I got this off his website, which I love this as well. Okay, so do not be deceived. If it's described as mandatory, it's not a law. If it's described as required, it's not a law. If it's described as ordered, it's not a law. If it's described as requested, it's not a law. If it's an ordinance, it's not a law. We're going to keep going with this. If it's a decree, it's not a law. If it's recommended, it's not a law. If it's compulsory, it's not a law. Know your rights. And for you Americans who are listening and watching the show, have heart. We have done much that has been negative, but there are many of us that our hearts are strong and big, and we will overcome all that has been done and all that we have done to others, and it's all going to be okay. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye. Y'all, find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, True Social, as well as Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, plus a plethora of other audio directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So like, subscribe, do it all. See ya.